In September, the leaves started to think about changing. Taryn took Miles to the Ohio State Fair's final weekend and rode the Skyglider, even though heights made her knees hum. She bought a lemon shake-up. She laughed at a joke that wasn't that funny. Grant moved to Chicago. Word traveled, as it does. Someone sent a link to a new pitch deck. It didn't matter. He was elsewhere. That was enough. Laurel emailed a photo of a desert sunrise. "I'm okay," she wrote. "You will be too." Cassidy found a photo of their moms at a 4th of July picnic in Worthington from 1992 and framed it for Taryn's hallway. Every time Taryn passed it, she wanted to tell Eleanor, "I'm not hiding. I'm not scared. I'm choosing clear." On a chilly Friday night, Taryn stood under the bleachers again, cocoa in hand, band rumbling the metal. The announcer's voice boomed names and numbers. Cassidy cheered 2 rows down with a green foam finger like she was 12. Taryn's phone buzzed with a new message from the unknown number that was no longer unknown. "Laurel, new town, new rules. Proud of you." Taryn smiled and typed back, "You too." She looked at the field, kids running, parents yelling, lights painting the night like a promise. She pressed her hand to the railing and felt it vibrate with the steps of people finding their seats. She felt steady. Stay one step ahead of Betrayal. Subscribe. Tell us in the comments, forgive or cut ties. Only the brave hear hard truths. Join us. Goodness Corner has your back. Not subscribing yet? Drop Y below. Let's talk it out. In Westerville, Ohio, fall meant 3 things: the Buckeyes on Saturday, cider on Sundays, and high school football on Fridays. Taryn Ellis stood under aluminum bleachers clutching a styrofoam cup of cocoa as the marching band stopped past. Her fiancé, Grant Whitaker, waved from the 40-yard line where he'd volunteered to set up the Booster Club tent. Cassidy Rhodes, Taryn's best friend since their early 20s, was everywhere tonight. Clipboard had set the whole PTA president whirlwind. Cassidy was good at people. She could talk a Kroger cashier into opening another lane and a city council member into fast-tracking crosswalk paint. She had helped Taryn navigate the chaos of single motherhood back when Miles was a colicky newborn and sleep felt like a rumor. If you asked who she trusted most, outside of her 9-year-old son, it was Cassidy. The halftime fireworks burst. Taryn took out her phone to capture the glow over the field and saw a new message pop up from an unknown number. "The meetings aren't about you, but you deserve to know who you're marrying." Her throat tightened. The message had a screenshot attached. Grant's calendar with 2 reoccurring midweek blocks labeled C with C, Short North. A second image showed him with Cassidy outside a bistro on High Street. Grant's hand was on Cassidy's elbow. The timestamp was last Wednesday, 8:22 p.m. A cold gust cut through her coat. Cassidy glanced up from the field, searching the stands. When her eyes found Taryn's, her face softened into that familiar, "You good?" look. Taryn shoved the phone deep into her pocket and waved back like everything was fine. We cover real betrayals. Subscribe so you don't miss the signs. The band played Hang On Sloopy, and Taryn told herself there had to be a reason. Cassidy handled sponsorships. Grant ran point on the silent auction software for the spring gala. People had meetings. Adults had lives. But the message echoed. You deserve to know who you're marrying. She didn't watch the second half. Wednesday, Taryn parked 2 blocks from the restaurant on High Street, the kind with Edison bulbs and a chalkboard menu. Columbus had that mix of cozy and ambitious. Craft beer next to boutique Pilates, a gallery on one corner, a poke bowl shop the next. She told herself she wasn't spying, she was clarifying. There was a difference. At 7:41 p.m., Grant walked up in a navy peacoat, phone to his ear, laughing. At 7:45, Cassidy turned the corner wearing a camel coat Taryn had helped her pick during last year's Black Friday sales. They hugged. Not quick friend hug, not 2-second we're late hug. It was longer. There was a whisper. Grant's hand trailed down Cassidy's arm when they pulled apart. She stayed in the car until her legs cramped. When they came out at 9:22 p.m., they stepped into the glow of a streetlight. Cassidy touched Grant's cheek. No hesitation, no glance around first guilt. He looked at her the way he used to look at Taryn when he insisted on one more kiss in her kitchen before he left for a morning meeting. They parted in opposite directions. Taryn stared at the empty sidewalk until it blurred. She didn't text either of them that night. She didn't cry. She made Miles his lunch for the next day and laid out his red Buckeyes hoodie for Spirit Day. At 11:38 p.m., she typed 3 words to the unknown number. Who are you? No response. Betrayal hits fast. Stay ready. Tap subscribe now. The next week was packed. A pre-Thanksgiving potluck at church, a trip to Target for foil pans and nutmeg, and a dosh through Costco that was basically a contact sport. In the middle of that, Grant texted, "Let's do Friendsgiving at our place Friday. I'll do the turkey." Cassidy replied in the group thread with their usual circle of friends. "I'll bring sweet potato casserole and green beans." She added 3 heart emojis. Taryn stared at her screen. Cassidy and Grant were still moving around her life like furniture she no longer remembered buying. Friday morning, the doorbell rang. It was Cassidy. No warning. Just 2 coffees from the Starbucks by the pond the way she always did when she wanted to talk. "Kitchen," Taryn said, without hello. "We can talk in the kitchen." Cassidy set the cups on the counter and took a breath. "There's a lot I need to explain." "Short north," Taryn said, voice flat. "Wednesdays. 2 months now, right?" Cassidy blinked. She recovered fast, but Taryn caught it, the quick calculation in her eyes. "It's not... Don't say it. Please don't make me watch you try to wrap this in ribbon." Cassidy's jaw tightened. She reached into her tote, pulled out a manila folder, and slid it on the counter. Inside were photocopies, forms, emails, screenshots, even a scanned envelope with a postmark from Tucson, Arizona. "You need to read this. Not later. Now." Taryn didn't touch the folder. "Why were you touching his face?" Cassidy's eyes went wet, but she didn't cry. "Because I needed him to look at me when I told him I would not let you ruin you." For a second, the room felt like a camera lens snapping into focus. "Ruin me how?" Taryn asked. Cassidy tapped the folder. "Grant changed his name 5 years ago. He filed for bankruptcy in New Mexico under the name of Graham Winter. He left a trail of unpaid investors from a wellness app that never shipped. His new company is the same idea with a fresh coat of paint. He's trying to roll your savings into his next round. Those dinners? Leverage. He thought he could charm me into convincing you I told him the only way he'd touch your money was over my dead body." Taryn's pride stood up before her hope could. "You're lying." "I wish," Cassidy said. "Read." Taryn opened the folder. The Tucson envelope was addressed to Graham Winter, forwarding to a P.O. box in Santa Fe. There were filings from Bernalillo County, a list of creditors, an email with the subject line, "Re-investment, Tranche B, please confirm wire." The sender's name, Grant Whitaker. The email handle and the signature block didn't match. 2 names, 2 lives.
The last page was a photo. Grant, younger, a beard, standing with a woman in hiking gear in Sedona. The caption, "To better days, G+L." "Who's L?" Taryn asked, throat dry. "Unknown," Cassidy said. "I'm still digging." "You should have told me the moment you found any of this," Taryn said, heat rising again. "Not secret dinners, not streetlight touches." "I've tried, T," Cassidy said softly. "You remember the fundraiser kickoff at the brewery when I asked to talk without him? You said you were tired of negativity. He's good at turning the room, so I collected proof. I met him where he couldn't perform for you." The front door opened. Grant stepped in balancing a foil pan of mac and cheese and a bouquet of grocery store sunflowers. He brushed off snow that wasn't there and smiled like the world was fine. "Hey, ladies," he said, "my 2 favorite people." Taryn looked at Cassidy. Cassidy's head turned just enough to say, "Your call." "What would you do here? Confront now or wait? Tell us below." Taryn didn't make a speech. She didn't throw the flowers or the pan. She took the folder, walked past Grant, opened the patio door, and dropped it onto the outdoor table. Cold air blew pages everywhere. Grant laughed like she'd played a joke. "Okay, what's this?" "Your past. Catch it before it blows into the neighbor's yard." He moved quickly, chasing documents across the deck. Cassidy stayed inside, back against the fridge, hands shaking but steady. "What did you give her?" Grant said through the door, papers in his hands. The smile was gone. His voice had a new edge Taryn hadn't heard. It made her think of a seatbelt locking. "The truth, or enough of it." Grant set the papers down and came back inside. Babe, I can explain every one of those. New Mexico was a complicated time. I shouldn't have. You used a different name. You hid it. You planned to roll my 401k into your private mess. Did you think I'd never ask what tranche B means? Grant pinched the bridge of his nose. You're scared. That's what this is. You finally have something good and you're letting her... Her? Cassidy asked, a dry laugh escaping despite herself. He was never very creative with gaslighting. He turned on her. You wanted a cut. Don't act noble now. You came to every meeting. I came to tell you to leave her alone. Taryn held up a hand. Enough. She took the ring off, not dramatic, just final. She set it in the ceramic butter dish on the counter with a click she knew she'd remember in dreams. We're done. He swallowed. So that's it? He looked from Taryn to Cassidy and back. 10 months and you walk because she found a few PDFs on the internet? I walk because you lied. Over and over. I would have forgiven debt. I don't forgive deception. Grant's jaw set. You're making a mistake. He grabbed his coat, left the food on the counter, and walked out. No door slam. Quiet was worse. Cassidy didn't move. She didn't reach for Taryn. She knew when touch would feel like trespass. I'll clear out. Give you space. Taryn looked down at the ring, at the tiny notch where it had scratched the butter dish glaze. She felt empty and awake at the same time. Stay, she said. Help me get through tonight. They plated food. Friends came. They ate. They laughed too loud. They pretended to be surprised by a pecan pie that tasted like a candle. The house glowed. Everyone left. At 1:06 a.m., the unknown number texted again. He won't leave quietly. Watch the Tucson thread. There's more. Want the full story as it breaks? Subscribe for the next reveal.
The call I received wasn't just from Sam. It was from someone I never expected. And what they told me turned everything I thought I knew upside down. I can't stop thinking about the letter. Sam's words keep echoing in my mind, each line sinking in deeper than the last. I've been keeping something from you. What did he mean? What was he involved in? And who could I really trust now? It's late afternoon when my phone buzzes. I glance at the screen, expecting to see a message from Sam, but when I look, it's not Sam. It's an unknown number. I don't recognize the area code, but my heart starts to race anyway. I don't know why, but I feel like something is about to happen that I'm not prepared for. I answer before the call can end. Hello? My voice sounds shaky even to me. Lily, it's Joe, a calm voice says on the other end. My pulse doesn't slow. Listen, you need to be careful. Sam's been talking to people I know, people you don't want involved in this. I freeze. My heart pounds against my chest. What do you mean, Joe? Who are these people? He sighs, his voice low. They're dangerous, Lily. And Sam's been pulling you into their web. You're in deeper than you realize. And it's not just about him anymore. If you don't act fast, things are going to get a lot worse for you. I grip the phone tighter, my mind spinning. What should I do? I ask, barely above a whisper. Joe's paused for a long moment. There is only one thing left to do. You need to get out of there. You need to leave before they can find you. Leave? I'm stunned. I don't even know where to start. I've spent my whole life here. My family, my memories, everything I know is here. How can I just leave it all behind? I can't just leave, Joe, I say, panic creeping into my voice. I don't even know where to go. What's going on? What are you not telling me? Joe's silence on the other end is almost deafening. It's like he's weighing how much to say, how much I'm ready to hear. I can't explain everything right now, but trust me when I say you're in serious danger. I'm giving you a heads up, Lily. You have to take it seriously. My mind races. This is all happening too fast. I thought I could control things, thought I had some handle on what was going on, but now I feel like I'm drowning in it. I can't even make sense of the last few days, let alone the years I spent trusting Sam. Joe, what did Sam get into? What is all this about? I ask, my voice trembling. There's a long pause before Joe finally speaks. Sam's involved in something illegal, something bigger than both of you, and he's been using you to cover his tracks. Everything you thought you knew about him is a lie. The weight of his words presses down on me, and for a moment I can't breathe. Sam? A liar? A criminal? Everything I thought I knew about him is shattered in an instant. But then something inside me shifts. Maybe I was already starting to see it, but I refuse to believe it. Joe, tell me everything, I say, my voice barely audible. I wish I could, Lily, Joe says, his voice soft, almost regretful. But this isn't something I can explain over the phone. You need to trust me, and you need to leave. I'll help you, but I need you to do this for yourself. I stare at my phone in disbelief. I don't know who to believe anymore. Sam's words, Joe's warnings, everything feels like a tangled mass of confusion. But Joe's right about one thing. I don't know who Sam really is, and I sure as hell don't know what he's gotten me into. Okay, I'll leave, but where do I go, Joe? I don't have any plan. My voice cracks, and I feel the weight of uncertainty crashing down on me. Joe's response is quiet, but firm. I'll help you, but you need to be smart. Don't trust anyone right now, not even Sam, especially not Sam. I swallow hard. What should I do first? I ask, trying to calm myself. I can't let the panic take over. You'll need to make yourself scarce. Go somewhere they can't find you. Trust no one, Lily, not even the people you think you know best. The call ends, and I sit there in stunned silence, staring at my phone. My hands are shaking as I try to process what just happened. What did Joe mean by "you're in danger"? Why does it feel like my whole life is being upended right now? Just as I'm about to stand up and make a plan, there's a loud knock at my door. My heart skips a beat. I wasn't expecting anyone. I don't move. I can't move. The room feels smaller, the air thinner. Another knock, more urgent this time. I know who it is, before I even get up to answer it.
I never thought I'd be standing here, faced with the worst decision of my life. But now, with the darkness closing in, I had to choose: betray Sam or risk everything for a future I wasn't sure I deserved. I stand frozen, the letter still clutched in my hands as the sound of tires screeching fades in the distance. My mind races faster than I can process. The man who came from nowhere, the cryptic message from Sam, the warning from Joe, everything is crashing down on me all at once. It's not just Sam who's in danger anymore. It's me. I've always believed I could trust the people closest to me, but now that belief feels like a cruel joke. Sam's betrayal stings deeper than anything I've ever felt, but the man who warned me is a stranger, a shadow in my past. And Joe, the one person who's shown me some semblance of care, what if he's keeping secrets of his own? I close my eyes for a moment, trying to steady my breath. I don't know what to do anymore. Do I take Mark's advice and run? Should I confront them and risk everything? Or do I try to walk away and pretend none of this is real? The air feels thicker now. I can't escape the suffocating weight of the decision ahead of me. My fingers tighten around the letter, the ink beginning to smudge from my sweating palms. The words still echo in my mind. You've got two choices: face them or keep running. But neither choice feels like a real escape. Running means I'll live the rest of my life looking over my shoulder, constantly fearing that someone will come after me. And facing them? That could mean my death. Or worse, losing everything I've ever cared about. What would I be risking? Sam is involved with dangerous people. I know that much. People who won't stop until they get what they want. And maybe, just maybe, it's not just about Sam anymore. Maybe they're after me because of something I don't even know. I walk back to my car, each step heavier than the last. Every instinct in my body tells me to drive far away from all of this. I could disappear. I could leave my life here behind and try to start fresh somewhere else. But is that even possible? Could I really just leave it all? I throw open the car door and sit in the driver's seat, slamming my hands against the wheel in frustration. I'm not ready to make this decision. I need more time. But there's no time. Sam's people are close. I can feel it in my bones. I pull out my phone and dial Joe's number. The line rings twice before he picks up. Joe, I say, my voice shaky. I don't know what to do. Should I confront them? Should I run? He cuts me off, his voice firm yet calming. I can't make that decision for you, but I've told you before. You're deeper in this than you think. Running might seem like an option, but it won't get you out. Confronting them might be your only shot at ending this. But what if I'm not ready, I ask, barely above a whisper. What if I don't know how to face them? Joe pauses for a long moment. No one's ever ready, Lily. You've already faced more than you know. You're stronger than you think. You just have to decide what you want for yourself. Do you want to keep running or finally take control of your life? His words ring in my ears as I hang up the phone. I stare out the windshield, watching the traffic pass by. I'm scared, terrified actually. But Joe's right. If I keep running, I'll never be able to escape. Sooner or later they'll catch up with me. I have to make a choice. It's now or never. My hands grip the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white. This isn't just about me anymore. This is about taking back control of my life, of finding the strength to face whatever's coming. I may not have all the answers, but I have to stop being afraid. I can't let them win. I start the car and pull into traffic, my mind finally made up. The road ahead stretches out before me, but I'm no longer afraid. I know I have to face what's coming. And maybe, just maybe, there's a chance to take back what's mine. A chance to put an end to this chaos and free myself from Sam's grip. As I turn onto a street I don't recognize, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull over and check the message. It's from an unknown number again. "You don't have much time, Lily. You should have listened to us." My blood runs cold. They know I'm coming. They're waiting. I take a deep breath, steadying my nerves. I know this is it, the point of no return. Just as I'm about to drive forward, my rearview mirror catches something. A car, blacked out windows, following me closely. I don't know if it's them or just another random driver, but something tells me I'm not alone anymore. I make a sharp turn down a narrow street, hoping to lose them. But as I glance back again, my stomach drops. There's no sign of the car behind me. They're gone. But I know better than to think I'm safe. What do you think? Should Lily confront the people after her? Or is it too late to turn back? Who's behind the mysterious messages, and why are they targeting her? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to find out what happens next, what Lily decides to do, and whether she's truly safe, hit that subscribe button now. You don't want to miss the next chapter. Things are about to get real.
Taryn sank into a chair. Loved me first? Choice she made. What choice? Cassidy's voice barely rose above a whisper. "I think we share a father." The room went silent in the way that changes the shape of your life. Taryn's chest felt tight. She looked at the photo again, then at Cassidy's face. Familiar, in a way she'd always chalked up to time together. The same diagonal smile. The same stubborn crease when they got focused. "My mom used to joke that I had a mystery chin because no one in my family had this exact shape," Cassidy said, touching her jaw. She laughed once, not happy. "I never thought to ask whose it was." Taryn stood. "You've been in my life for 15 years. Her voice shook. "You held my son minutes after he was born. You moved me out of my apartment when my ex left. If this is true, you knew, or your mom knew, and no one told me." "I didn't know," Cassidy said quickly. "I swear I didn't know. When my mom saw how close we were getting, she kept her distance from you. I think she thought time would bury it. She never expected this to surface." "Bury what? Who is the father?" Cassidy looked sick. "I'm working on it. If your best friend might be your sister, do you test or wait?" Cassidy ordered kits. They swabbed in silence at Taryn's kitchen table while Miles built a Lego stadium on the floor. The tests would take weeks. In that limbo, narcissism plus proximity did what it always does. Grant reappeared. He didn't knock this time. He waited by Taryn's car at dismissal, hands in his pockets, like parents do when they're killing time. Teachers and aides moved around them with the tired grace of people who turn chaos into routine. 2 minutes, he said as Taryn approached, voice low, eyes pleading. "I told you not to contact me." He took a small step back, palms up. "I'm not here to fight. I'm here to make you whole." "What does that even mean?" she asked. He took out an envelope and handed it to her. Inside was a cashier's check made out to her for a number that made her blink. "I can't undo the past," he said, "but I can refuse to profit from it. This repays what I asked you to invest, and then some." "You never got $1 from me," Taryn said. "Symbolic then. I'm trying." She handed the check back. "Keep your symbols." His jaw tightened, then relaxed. He slid the check into his coat. "I'm done chasing you," he said. "But you should know, Cassidy isn't what she seems. Be careful where you put your trust." "Imagine saying that with a straight face," Taryn said. He leaned in. 2 words. Conflict of interest. She stared at him. He walked away without explaining. That night, Cassidy texted from her driveway. "I can't stop watching your porch camera. I'm paranoid." Taryn sent a selfie with Miles in the Lego stadium. "Come inside. There's chili." Cassidy came. They ate. They put on a movie none of them watched. The house felt like a fort built against a storm. If this happened to a friend, you'd warn them. Subscribe. Help others.
The DNA results arrived on a Tuesday, after school like any other mail. A ComEd bill, a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon, a thin white envelope that could change the way you stand in your living room. They sat at the table again, the same posture as the swabs, but with more air between them. Taryn opened hers, read, stopped. Cassidy opened hers and made a small sound, like something let go. There it was, half-sibling match. The probability was so high that it might as well have been written as yes. Taryn's hands shook. "We share a father," she said, tone even but eyes wet. Cassidy nodded. "I'm sorry you're finding out this way." "Me too," Taryn said. They sat in that new fact, feeling around for its edges. "What if I'm angry and grateful at the same time?" Taryn asked. "I'd say that's honest," Cassidy said. Taryn exhaled. "Who?" Cassidy pulled out a printed screenshot, an old Columbus Dispatch article in 1991 about a rising local developer named Harold Whitaker. "Whitaker?" Taryn frowned. Cassidy nodded. "Harold Whitaker is Grant's father." The room tilted. "Say that again." "Your mother and my mother were friends. My mother had an affair with Harold Whitaker. He paid her to keep quiet. According to this, he also had a relationship with your mother before he married Grant's mother. The timelines overlap." Cassidy swallowed. "He is likely our father. He is also Grant's father." Taryn felt her chair, relieved to find it. "Grant is—" Cassidy finished it. "Your half-brother." Silence rolled through the house like weather. Miles' Lego people toppled in the other room, the refrigerator clicked, somewhere a dog barked. Taryn put her head in her hands. "I was engaged to my half-brother." "I don't think he knew," Cassidy said quickly. "You didn't either. Harold's mess created this. Grant changed his name, ran from debt, reinvented himself. He also ran from the truth of his family." Taryn stood and paced. 100 small moments flashed. Grant's immediate comfort at Thanksgiving with my aunt, the way he joked that Miles had his smile, the weird familiarity when Grant first met Cassidy. It wasn't romantic gravity. It was genetic gravity. "We need to be careful," Cassidy said. "This could blow up your life in ways you don't want and don't deserve." Taryn stopped pacing, palms on the table. "We tell the truth. We don't let men's secrets cost us our sanity. Tell the truth or keep it private." "Why?" They agreed on what to say and what not to say. They called a lawyer whose office was near Nationwide Arena, with a receptionist who sounded like spa music. They asked about language that protected privacy and grounded them in facts. Taryn invented Grant to meet at a neutral place, the public library's study room with glass walls and a security guard at the front desk who wore a sweater vest and read paperbacks between patrons. Grant came in guardedly cheerful. He started with, "I hope we can be adults," which felt like a trap, disguised as courtesy. Taryn slid a thin folder across the table. "We did DNA testing. It matched Cassidy and me as half-siblings. We have reason to believe Harold Whitaker is the common parent." Grant's face didn't move first. Then a muscle in his jaw twitched. "Harold? No." He laughed once, short. "This is ridiculous." "Maybe, but if it's not, it means you and I share a father." He opened his mouth and closed it. His eyes flicked to the glass, to the guard, to the folder. "You're wrong," he said softly. "We're not telling this to hurt you. We're telling you so you stop orbiting me. Whatever we were, none of that moves forward, for obvious reasons." Grant stood too fast, and the chair leg scraped the floor. "You're trying to bury me. First you smear me as a thief, now you try to attach me to Harold's mistakes? I'm trying to keep my life intact. You should do the same." He stared at the folder like it had teeth. "If you say this in public, I'll sue." "For what?" Cassidy asked, calm. "For discovering biology?" He left without taking the folder. The guard looked up as he passed, then looked down at his book again. Was telling him right? Comment yes or no. Why? Stories like this don't end with a single brave sentence. They taper, they wobble, they fine-tune. Taryn got a protective order after the tracker. She looped in the school counselor to ensure pickup routines were clear. She joined a Saturday morning hiking group that met at the Alintunji Trail. She sat in church and let the music carry parts of her she didn't have words for yet. Cassidy started therapy for her own pile of revelations. Mother, secrecy, identity. She brought over banana bread with too many chocolate chips, and they ate it over the sink. They made mistakes, stepped on each other's raw spots, apologized, tried again. Laurel sent the promise folder. It was dry reading. Emails, filings, notes from calls with banks that refused to return fees. It was proof that sometimes harm is just a person making selfish choices again and again while telling themselves a good story. In March, the DNA company notified them of a new match, Harold Whitaker's nephew. It wasn't a direct answer, but it tightened the net. Cassidy's mother refused to talk. Taryn's aunt, pressed gently over tea at a diner near Polaris, admitted that Eleanor had once said, "Cryptic as a fortune cookie. Love makes brave choices and mistakes in the same breath." Was Harold a mistake? Taryn asked. Her aunt stirred her coffee like it could reveal words at the bottom. He was a chapter we didn't reread out loud. By April, the Buckeyes had their spring game. Miles begged to go. Taryn bought cheap seats and hot dogs and pretzel bites that needed more salt. The stadium thumped like a heart. Cassidy came too, and they yelled themselves hoarse. It felt nice to be part of a crowd with a simpler scoreboard. At halftime, Taryn checked her phone. A new Medium post was circulating in the Columbus startup community. Lessons from failure, choosing integrity after hitting bottom. The byline? Grant Whitaker. She skimmed. It was what Laurel predicted. A confession that blurred into a pitch. He admitted to past immaturity in New Mexico, insisted his current venture is different, and framed the tracker incident as an unfortunate misunderstanding with a delivery I was trying to intercept to protect privacy. He never named Taryn. He implied a jealous friend had weaponized old data. Cassidy snorted. Points for vocabulary. Taryn closed the app. He can write whatever he wants. We live in the part that's true. You want the receipts? Subscribe. Updates drop fast. June brought heat that made the sidewalks shimmer. The Westerly Music and Arts Festival set up tents on the green. Taryn and Cassidy walked past pottery booths and local honey stands like the women in the Polaroid 30 years earlier. New photo, new rules. You okay? Cassidy asked.